talking about the 90s recording studios are starting to migrate down, budgets are getting a little bit smaller. You had to self-teach everything. You had to understand recording, production, mixing, sound design, everything. How, because now your career is 30 years long.
Yeah, which is crazy.
Which is crazy. How, because somebody would say, like, you think in the housing market in 2008, if you went out to buy a house, people would think you're crazy. In the 90s, if you said, I'm going to start making records and all the recording studios are getting smaller budgets, people say you're crazy. How did you turn that in the 90s? How did you sustain 30 years? How did you turn that learning experience of creating records and putting things together into a viable business that's now?
There is just one word. It's passion. You need to have passion. And you know what I mean. You know, you seem so passionate about doing your your mastering job, but also like interfacing with social media and trying to grow your business more. So it's passion, passion always. I never felt tired in my life. Never. I mean, I was doing the craziest hours, especially before, I would say before 40, so between 18 and 38, let's say, I was doing like 7 days a week, every day, every week, no vacation, except for, like the usual 10 days in a year, and then 15 hours easily, Sunday included, but it was not, that was my life, and I loved it, and listen, you have to remember that before actually selling my first big record, before producing my first big record, which was Rosso Relativo in 2001, it took me 10 years. It took me 10 years of doing that every day. From 91, I had my first record, coming out with BMG Ariola and Leandro Barsotti. And first big hit was 2001. So literally 10 years,
Wow.
It's actually almost what I'm redoing here in LA. So I'm here since 8 years, and I'm starting to see placement only in the last year and a half, and no big hits. Maybe hopefully the next big hit we're gonna come in 2 years, in America, let's say, But it takes time because you need to relearn everything. It's crazy, but I still love it in a different way because I can't do anymore 15 hours a day. And also it's dangerous because you can burn yourself, out. If you for like 40 years you do 15 hours a day, you're gonna go crazy. Not even the biggest producer I know, but so I take more pauses. I have people working for me, luckily, that they can do part, Juan Patricio for sure, but there's other people. And with the record company that we're gonna talk later, I'm actually learning to use other people and just to do executive production, which I love.
Yeah, so delegating, taking a back seat. That means as you spread it out, to other people to do more of the 15 hours of work of the menial tasks, the editing, the comping, some of the beat making. You're focusing on the core passion, which is the music itself, the finding, the discovery, the creation, and other people doing those bits in between. You mentioned something interesting, which was Tiziano's album. 2001, that comes out. It's been 10 years. You've done 10 years, for 15 hours a day straight. Did anything pivot or change then? Or did it mean you had to even work harder?
I mean, you mean after that album or?
Yeah.
Actually, you know what? I probably had to work even harder without even realizing it, because suddenly there were people paying attention to what I was doing. Before, no one even knew me, so I could technically do whatever I wanted. Now, especially already after 2001, the second album, I didn't get any more to work with Tiziano's executive producers, so I had everything on myself, and Tiziano was not even actually with me because he was touring Latin America with Rosso Relativo when I had to do 111,
Yeah.
So I was by myself with phone calls coming directly from EMI Milan, but also EMI London. I mean, think about someone from Padua, that's like in the middle of nowhere inside an office that was actually the Lexmark office, so the printer. Lexmark, I think Lexmark, so it was basically not even a studio. It was like a square, with some, foam. And then suddenly I received calls from EMI London. At the time, EMI was, like myth, was the Pink Floyd record label. In fact, we went actually while I was doing 111, we went to visit, EMI London. There was still one of those big inflatable recreation of when the Berlin concert, the Pink Floyd went the Berlin Wall. So that, so it was like suddenly from Padua, I was like visiting London, the EMI, director, whatever. So that was, I had for the first time in my life some kind of not nervous breakdown, but I was not able to do any music work for 1 month straight. While Tiziano was in Latin America, I was approaching my studio. I was entering my studio at 9 a.m. and I was starting shaking. Never happened in my life. Shaking, like something physical. And I quit smoking 5 years before that. And I started smoking back, again, and the shaking went away. It was weird.
Oh wow, that's crazy.
For 1 month, because I felt the pressure about delivering the, and there was no one on the chain of command over me now. I was the one deciding everything with Tiziano, obviously, but Tiziano was not with me. I felt, I still remember it. I don't think it ever happened to me again, but, pressure to deliver, after you sold 1.5 million copies, and for the 10 year before you never sold anything, that was weird.